I still remember that night like it happened yesterday. It was a cold, rainy night, the kind where the wind hits the windows and makes the whole house creak. I was alone at home. My parents were out of town visiting relatives, and I had the whole place to myself. I felt safe enough. I had locked all the doors, closed the windows, and even set up the small CCTV cameras we'd installed last month. I went to bed late, around 1 a.m. after watching a movie. The sound of rain on the roof was almost like white noise, and it didn't take me long to fall asleep. The room was dark, only a faint glow from the streetlight outside sneaking through the curtains. The whole night felt like one long, heavy dream. I remember shifting once in my sleep because I thought I heard something, like a faint knock or a soft clatter, but I was too tired to check, so I rolled over and went back to sleep. When morning came, everything felt normal. The rain had stopped, the air was cold and damp. I went to the kitchen, made tea, and checked my phone. That's when I saw a notification from the CCTV app. Motion detected. My heart skipped. I opened the app, thinking maybe it was a cat or some glitch, but the footage that loaded made my blood run cold. The video showed my bedroom door opening slowly at around 3:17 a.m. Two men stepped inside. They were wearing dark hoodies and masks. One of them held a rod, a long iron rod, like something you'd use to break a lock or a window. The other one shone a small flashlight around the room, moving carefully so they wouldn't wake me up. I could see myself on the bed in the footage, sleeping on my side, completely unaware. The man with the rod stepped closer to my bed. He leaned down, staring at me for a long time. My heart started pounding as I watched the footage. I could see how close he was, his hand just inches from my blanket. He lifted the rod slightly, like he was ready to use it. Then the other man whispered something. I couldn't hear it, but I could see his mouth moving. The man with the rod hesitated, then slowly backed away. They searched my drawers, took my wallet, and left quietly. They didn't wake me. They didn't hurt me. I sat there staring at the screen, my hands shaking. I replayed the clip over and over again. All I could think was, what would have happened if I had woken up? The man was right there. He had a weapon. If I had opened my eyes, moved suddenly, or tried to fight back, he might have swung that rod. He might have killed me right there in my bed. I walked around my house, checking every room, every lock, every window. Nothing was broken. They had picked the lock perfectly. No one else was around. I didn't call the police right away. I just sat on the couch, staring at nothing. My hands were still trembling. I kept thinking how close I had been to dying without even knowing it. Even now, months later, I still wake up at night thinking about it. I keep imagining that moment on the CCTV, the man with the rod leaning over me. Sometimes I wake up sweating, hearing the rain outside, and it all comes back. That was the night I realized your own home isn't always safe. And sometimes, not waking up saves your life.
I was 16 and had the house to myself for the weekend. My parents had gone out of town, leaving me alone with the familiar comfort of my own room. I loved these weekends. No rules, no early bedtimes, just the soft hum of the air conditioner and my gaming setup. That Saturday, a heavy rainstorm had started in the afternoon. The clouds were thick and gray and rain drummed against the windows like 100 tiny fingers. The power flickered a few times, but I didn't care. My headphones drowned out everything except the game I was immersed in. Around 10 p.m., I realized I was hungry. I got up to grab a snack from the kitchen, but the hallway was dark and wet from rain dripping off my jacket. I told myself it was silly, but I thought I saw something move at the corner of my eye. A shadow maybe, or a trick of the light. I shook my head and went back to my room. Later that night, I decided to clean up a bit. My closet was messy, filled with clothes and old boxes. I opened the door and froze. Muddy footprints led inside the closet. They were fresh. The rain from earlier couldn't have gotten in here. My heart skipped, and I felt a cold lump in my stomach. I thought maybe it was a prank, my imagination, or someone breaking in through the garage. I called my friend on the phone to calm myself down. I didn't want to go in the closet, but I didn't see anyone. After a few minutes of staring, I convinced myself I had imagined it and went back to gaming. I went to bed around midnight, still uneasy. The house was quiet except for the patter of rain and the soft hum of the AC. I tried to sleep, telling myself everything was fine. The next morning, I was scrolling through my phone when I remembered the security cameras my parents had installed last month. I opened the app, thinking maybe I could see what had caused those footprints. I wish I hadn't. The footage showed a man entering the house at around 9:45 p.m., just after the rain had started. He moved quickly and silently, wearing a hoodie and a mask. He went straight to my room, crouched low, and opened the closet door. I was on my bed, headphones on, completely oblivious. The man stayed inside the closet for almost an hour, rifling through boxes and moving my things. He held a knife, his hand trembling slightly, like he was deciding something. I couldn't believe my eyes. Then he stopped and looked toward my bed. He crouched down, just a few feet away from me. My heart raced as I watched the footage. I had been that close to death. He hesitated, then slowly backed away and left. I sat there, shaking, staring at the screen. I could feel the fear I should have had that night, frozen in time, watching me sleep. I told my parents as soon as they returned. They called the police. The officers checked every inch of the house, but there were no fingerprints on the floors, no forced entry marks, nothing except the footprints and the mess in the closet. I couldn't sleep for weeks. Every time the wind rattled the windows or the floorboards creaked, I imagined him coming back. I kept the closet locked from then on, and I never went in there alone at night. Even now, years later, I remember that footage. I remember seeing him crouched in my closet, just inches away, deciding whether or not to strike. Sometimes I wonder, what would have happened if I had moved? If I had woken up? Would I even be here to tell this story? The thought still chills me to this day.
I was 19, traveling alone for the first time. My parents had insisted I stay in cheap motels instead of hostels, saying it was safer. I didn't care much about comfort. I just wanted a quiet place to sleep after long hours on the road. That night, I checked into a small roadside motel on the outskirts of town. The rain had started earlier, turning the parking lot into a shiny puddle of reflected neon signs. The motel looked old, peeling paint, flickering lights, and a faint smell of damp wood. I shrugged it off. I'd stayed in worse places before. I got into my room, number 12, and locked the door. The chain lock made a soft click as I secured it, giving me a false sense of safety. I turned on the TV and tried to relax, listening to the rain tapping the window. It was late, around 1 a.m., when I finally decided to sleep. I remember lying on the bed, my body exhausted, eyes closing as the rain drummed steadily. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the old air conditioner. I didn't hear anything unusual. I fell into a deep sleep, completely unaware of what was happening. The next morning, the motel staff knocked on my door to clean the room. I got up, rubbed my eyes, and opened it. The hallway smelled of wet carpet and bleach. As I stepped into the room, I noticed something strange. The door latch wasn't fully in place. It had clicked, but not completely. I frowned and called the front desk, asking if anyone had tried to enter. That's when the staff pulled out the CCTV footage from the hallway cameras. My stomach sank as I watched the playback. The video showed a man entering the motel around midnight. He wore a dark hoodie and a mask, moving carefully through the dimly lit hallway. He stopped at my room, tried the door, and it clicked open. He hesitated, then slowly pushed the door wider and stepped inside. I was asleep on the bed, completely unaware. He looked around the room, lifting small items, rifling through my bag. The footage showed him pausing near the bed, staring down at me. I could see the shape of his hand gripping a metal object, maybe a wrench or a rod, poised as if ready to strike. He lingered for a moment, then pulled back and left, closing the door quietly behind him. The footage made my heart pound so hard I thought it might burst. I had been just inches away from someone who could have hurt or even killed me while I slept. The motel staff immediately called the police. They reviewed all the cameras and confirmed this man had tried entering several rooms that night, but left when he thought someone was awake. My door was his first target. I stood in the empty room, shaking,
staring at the spot where he had leaned over me. The rain continued to pour outside, but I didn't notice it anymore. Every creak in the floor sounded like footsteps. Every shadow on the wall seemed alive. I couldn't sleep that night. I stayed awake, lights on, listening to the storm outside. Every time the wind rattled the window, I imagined him coming back, trying again. My mind replayed the footage over and over, imagining what could have happened if I had shifted in my sleep, rolled over, or made a sound. Even now, I can't stay in a motel without checking the door 3 times, locking every latch, and scanning the hallway before I settle in. That night taught me how fragile safety can be, how easily life can hang by a thread without you even knowing it. And sometimes, in the middle of a quiet night, when the rain is tapping on the window, I still remember him, standing in my room, watching me sleep, waiting for a chance.
Like and subscribe.